everybody, Tekking101 here to do a first impressions of Attack on Titan. And this was actually not the video I was originally going to film today. This was actually going to be, I was actually going to start filming, if you follow my vlog channel, link below, I was actually going to start filming the first episode of this little mini-series I was going to start. It's a little 6-episode mini-series on this certain Bleach-related topic. And I was going to start filming that, but then I looked back at all the different messages I got over the past couple days, all my personal messages on YouTube and comments on my, like I did my Let's Play yesterday, my Pokemon Let's Plays, my Bleach review this week, and pretty much hidden somewhere in there, sometimes noticeable, other times not so noticeable, there's a comment that says, have you heard of Attack on Titans? Have you watched Attack on Titan? Are you going to make a video on Attack on Titan? All these other people are making a video about it, why don't you? I'm like, okay, let me be perfectly clear here. I get requests to watch anime all the time. Like, I can't even count how many times I've gotten emails stating, you need to see this anime, you need to watch this anime, you need to do a review of the anime. So that's not the reason I'm doing it. The reason is for two reasons. Number one, I haven't done first impressions in almost a year. And secondly, because I really want this series to work. I want to have something with this series. And number two, I know for a fact that any video I make, because the video, the mini-series I'm going to be talking about, it's about a Bleach-related topic, but it's about a topic probably a lot of you are just going to be wondering. It's not something a lot of people discuss. And I know that a lot of you would just be like, you know, why are you making a video about this random topic? You should make a video about Attack on Titan. That's current, that's recent, everyone else is doing it. I'm like, fine, okay, whatever. We'll do a first impressions on it, get it out of the way so I can just do whatever. Okay, so retooling of the show once again. The fact that I've only had 2 episodes of this freaking show in the past year and a half proves that I need to retool it a little bit to make it work. So here's what we're going to do. It's going to start off with me discussing what I know about the series. In this case, not very much. I know it's a fairly new anime. I know it's only about up to 5 or 6 episodes. I know nothing about the plot. I know nothing about the characters. I know hardly anything about it other than it's very popular at the moment. A lot of anime and manga reviewers have discussed this and made videos about it. Hence why everyone's coming to me about it. That's basically the limit of my knowledge. I don't know much beyond that. So I'm just going to give a brief summary of the series, and then I'm going to turn the camera off, and then right here, right now, I'm going to watch the first episode, unless, is Attack on the Titan 2 episodes? It might be a 2-episode, it might be a part 1, part 2 kind of thing. If that's the case, then I'll watch the first 2 parts, just for a sense of completion. And then after I'm done with that, I'll turn the camera back on, and I'll discuss you my first impressions literally on the series. Alright, so Attack on Titan, first impressions, new intro that I just made in the last 10 minutes. Let's go! Okay, well, damn. I only watched the first episode, mainly because I only needed to watch the first episode. I thought that, you know, if I watched the first episode and I didn't really feel like I had any kind of connection with it at all, I needed to watch the second episode, part 2, to get, like, the full impact of it. No, it's cool, it's cool. I can tell you right now that just from watching the first episode, I'm gonna watch the rest of this series. I can tell why it's so good. I took some notes throughout the episode of stuff that I found interesting, of stuff I wanted to point out. Let me just discuss the characters really quick, but the characters are not, let me just say, from my perspective anyway, the characters are not the main focus of this story. The main focus is just the world they live in and the way things are in this kind of, kind of like twisted reality, parallel universe sort of thing. But the main character of the series is a young man named Eren, which he may not stay a young man. You know, this is from this story, from what we see, a lot of times you'll witness some traumatic event as a child, and then the story will cut to him being much older. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but it certainly might be. Anyway, Eren, I don't really, in this episode anyway, he just doesn't seem like a very different protagonist in terms of anything else in any other anime that I've seen. He lives in this walled city which is under attack by these colossal behemoths known as Titans, which are about maybe, I'd say, 20 to 30 feet tall. They're huge. They could easily crush any human, and they live in this walled city. and I'll get more into that when I get into the analysis of the world they live in. But Eren's character is essentially the rebel. He's the one that everyone else is not 100% content with living in the wall, but they've learned to make do. They've learned to just deal with it because that's just the way it is. Eren is the rebel. He doesn't want to live in the walls. He wants to go out and explore the world and know what's outside. Now, that's all well and good, but seriously, how many times in anime and manga have we ever heard the expression from the main character who lives in some kind of sheltered society? We saw it in Gurren Lagann, we saw it in all that. It's like, I want to go and live, I want to see what's outside, I don't want to be confined to this place. You know, and it's partly that, and it's also part that he wants to go and join this this scout force, this scout requisition that he wants to go and fight these monsters, these titans. And the thing here is that I actually have to say about this is that's actually monumentally stupid. And you know, he comes up and he's like, oh, you know, like, I want to be a warrior of justice. I want to go and be like a brave knight and go fight these things and you know, and to just go and be part of the solution. The only problem is there is no solution. That's just the thing. Like I was thinking a lot about Luke Skywalker from Star Wars. You know, how he likes, I know kind of an odd comparison, I know, but essentially it's kind of similar. He wants to go and he seems trapped and he wants to go be part of this bigger war, this bigger conflict. The problem is, in Luke Skywalker's case, there was actually a resistance movement that was actually fighting the Empire. Like, there was actually something he can join to fight, and, you know, some battles they won, some battles they lost, but at least there was some resistance. Here, there's nothing. There's literally nothing. Like, there's that scout exposition thing he wanted to join and you know, fight the Titans, but that did nothing against the freaking things. We see multiple times and multiple mentions throughout the episode that this scout force that goes off and tries to fight the Titans and tries to figure out what they are and learn more about them, they get freaking creamed every time they go out there. They lose massive amounts of numbers. They have a little bit of technology, all their tactics and everything. It does dick to these things. Like, they can all be strategic and be like, that's the first scene of the episode actually, is we see the expedition unit go out and try to take down one Titan. We have like a squad of like probably like 30 or 40 men, all strategic in different ways, and they have all this kind of, you know, wire work, grappling hook, you know, giant ass sword technology swinging around the freaking trees in this big forest, trying to take down one Titan. And we don't see what happens, but we see them return, and it's not a very pretty sight. So the idea that Eren wants to go out and fight these things is just ridiculous, because there is no war, there is no conflict. It's just that these things are out there, you encounter one, you die, it doesn't matter how many there are of you, and the only thing that guarantees your safety is this walled city, and that's basically it. Now, his sister, on the other hand, Mikasa, who is in fact my favorite character, just because, you know, she is she is essentially the level-headed one in like this little group of characters we'll meet. She's very level-headed. She's very she is, oh well, does not agree with everything that goes on in the city, but she's learned to just deal with it as well with everybody else. She's a little bit more outspoken than other people in the walled city. Other people just kind of tend to ignore what's going on outside and just go along with their daily lives. They just try not to think about it. She does mention it. She thinks about the situation, but at the same time, she just became content with it. Also in that, and she is the typical anime girl that looks all cute and frail, but really she'll kick your ass. That actually happens when Eren starts you know, spewing stuff about, like, I want to go out and join the expedition unit and fight the Titans and see the world, and she's just like, no, you're not. That's freaking stupid. You'll die. And grabs him and freaking chucks him against the wall. Yeah, and then there's another scene later on when a group of Eren and Mikasa are running into this group of bullies that are beating up this kid. And the bullies, there's 3 of them, they see Eren and they just like, it's Eren, he wants to get his ass kicked. And then they see Mikasa and they run freaking screaming, like with their like tails hanging between their legs, because she's just that scary apparently. She kind of is, but at the same time she's very cute in my opinion. I just wrote on my note sheet, I just wrote Mikasa, I like her. Eren, I wrote Rebel, heard it before, you know. So those are the main characters. There's other characters I'll get to, but mostly I want to really discuss the world this place is set up in. The world itself is kind of like a medieval Renaissance type deal. They say it takes place in the year 845 AD, so, you know, probably like a more, you know, just modified version of our year 845. The technology is a little bit more, I don't want to say steampunkish, because steampunkish would imply much more later, but it is really cool where they live in this kind of medieval type society and that they still have really advanced technology. Mostly are these, like, these two huge, you know, like armaments that they can mount to their belts, like these two huge cases that work as kind of like wire work, and they can just kind of propel and swing from building to building, from tree to tree. And they also have these awesome like huge freaking scimitar blades, and they can keep them like chained to it, and they use them as like ranged attacks. So clearly mankind is a little bit more advanced in this time period than they would be in our version of reality, and they've clearly taken on somewhat of a way to try to get away. The weapon, in my opinion, looks more like it's designed to escape a Titan attack than it is to take them down. They have like the huge ass scimitars, but as I stated, they do nothing. The walled city itself, we don't really learn much about how exactly it came into being. We just know that this world is inhabited by these huge titans. If you see one, it kills you. And this walled city was built in order to protect it. It's 50-foot high walls. Like I said, the titans themselves are probably only about maybe... It's kind of weird, because from the perspective we see, the titans are like this, and the wall is like this. And yet later on, we'll see a completely... When the titans actually invade the city, we see like a different height difference. But I'd say the titans are anywhere from like 10 to 20 feet tall, about the size of, if you want a rough estimate, about as big as, I'd say, like Komamura's Bankai from Bleach. If you watch Bleach, that's probably close to it. But anyway, we have this walled city. It's broken into kind of 3 sections. Kind of reminded me of Ba Sing Se from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's broken into like 3 separate walls, and you know, there's wall Sina, which is at the center, wall Rose, which is around like the middle, and wall Maria, which is the actual external wall. And like I stated, there's a kind of a sense of hopelessness throughout the city, where they know this is the only place they can be safe, but this place has existed for 100 years. Not a single Titan has gotten in since that point, so everyone just kind of lives with it. You know, they just kind of go about their day. They know what's out there. They know they can't go out there. They know they're basically like cattle boxed in, and only Eren is really the one that really complains about it. Everyone else just kind of deals with, you know, like, oh, well, you know, we can't go anywhere, but we just gotta kind of make the best of what we got, right? There's a lot of religious overtones here, like really, like seriously, like right just going by the Titans themselves being Greek mythology references to like the beings that are even greater than gods themselves, which that might be certainly a homage there, where these creatures basically transcend God and actually make, like, they basically set up the religionist dogma of the world. Like, you can't, like, they're the ones that are kind of the guardians here, which you can't leave. You're permitted to go in this one area, so it's kind of like human beings were designed in this world, or made to live in this wall. That's kind of a depressing aspect. It's kind of a depressing thing, but that's essentially the case. That's like a major twist from our reality. Like, what in our reality, God was like a benevolent creature. In this world, God is just a series of titans that want to rip your face off. You know, how would humanity develop differently, I wonder? There's little minor other religious overtones. There's, you know, references to names like Moses and stuff. Like, so there's references there. There's a preacher early on in the episode that's kind of like a, you know, like a doomsday preacher about the walls of the city. So it makes perfect sense. And there's even like a reference to, in terms like of a structure of government. It's been mentioned. It wasn't really expressly seen how this government acts, but they even stated like, any act of even wanting to go outside the wall is considered taboo, and it's against the law, essentially. Kind of brings into question, where does the scout exposition unit, where does that go into? That's another thing too about that unit. Like, Eren states to his parents, well, he doesn't state, it becomes known to his parents that he wants to go out and explore the world and join this expedition unit, and his mom is like really freaked out about it, understandably so, because, you know, he is just a child and he wants to go out. He's basically like, he basically wants to go out and die, essentially, from her eyes. But the thing I'm just thinking is like, okay, I understand this world's a little bit messed up, but do you honestly think that a child who just goes to the freaking office and is like, hey, I want to join the expedition unit, go outside and fight giant monsters that'll probably kill me. It's like, oh yeah, sure, kid, you're approved, come on, here's your sword, come on, let's go do it, you know? I highly doubt they would just let a kid join. So that, like, the reason why she's so freaked out about it is a little bit, You know, like my reaction would just be like, okay, that's nice, whatever, eat your soup, you know. You know, the dad is a little bit more understanding. Well, not really. The dad is more like, you know, why do you want to go outside, son? And he gives the stereotypical, like I said before, he's like, I want to see what's going on outside because I don't like to be cooped up because I'm the main hero. And the dad's just basically like, oh, well, curiosity can't be contained. It's great parenting there. Not to mention the fact that I'm sure if this small child really wanted to, he could leave the wall. It doesn't look that difficult to do. I mean, I know it's a giant walled-in city, but I'm sure at some point he could figure out to escape. I believe there's a mountain on one side too, so it's kind of like a circular wall. There's a really elaborate layout of it, which we really don't get into in this episode. The other fact is they don't really know much about the Titans. They've stated this wall has been in existence for 100 years, so probably at least 100 years of these Titans being around, and they still don't know anything about them. They don't know where they came from. They don't know where they, you know, what their story is, what their backstory is, if they have, you know, if they can think, if they can speak, if they can do anything like that. It's just that there's these mindless creatures from their eyes that just exist, and they're enemies of mankind. Not really enemies, because you can't fight them. You know, they're more just like more just like the overseers of humanity would be a better term, because enemy would imply someone that you can fight and someone that you want to take down, but there's no way you can take these things down. It's just impossible. So, yeah, it kind of sets up like sort of like an illusion of freedom, a sense in this wall society. So that's what I really like about it, just the world they set it up in, and just this really twisted religious dogma. Now, the actual plot of the episode kind of carries on like that, just life in the city, just life in the walls, until the very, very end, when it's actually kind of it goes on analogous with this boy, one of Eren's friends, and I didn't write his name down, I forget about it, and he states basically that this world, just because that the walls have stayed around 100 years and everyone's just content with it, is just okay with this sense of this illusion of freedom, doesn't mean it's going to last forever. And right as he says that, lightning strikes, this huge like lightning crash happens outside the walls, and this huge freaking Titan, like several times larger than the original one, he's all like muscular, skin exposed, really awesome. He just appears out of nowhere, freaking reaches up like over the wall, looks over, kicks the fucking thing in, and all the other Titans just invade the freaking town and just wreck the freaking place. Like this one kick from this like uber Titan, just like a freaking nuke bomb explodes, just freaking crashes and just decimates the entire freaking town. At the same time as this happens, Eren and Mikasa go to their parents' house, which was attacked by one of the Titans, and we find that Eren and Mikasa's mother is lying underneath the rubble, and another character shows up and saves them. They're escaping with this other guy. We literally see a Titan pick up Mikasa and Eren's mother, you know, twist her like a push pop and just freaking take a bite into her. And that's how the episode ends, with just this. It's a really emotional scene, just with the music too. Like the music also, forgot to mention, title is solid, music is very choir-esque, very reminiscent of like medieval type, religious type overtones, like a church choir. It really works though in this one particular scene. The problem I have with choir music is it tends to all kind of sound the same at the end of the day, and it really only applies for really heavy action scenes like you're attacking the Titan, or very heavy emotional scenes. But that's not a bad thing. It works in the end in this scene in particular. It's a really well done scene, and that's how the episode ends, with Eren witnessing his mother basically be eaten alive and her blood spew all over the freaking sky and rain down upon them. So yeah, Attack on Titan, very solid anime, very good. I'm definitely going to continue watching this. I believe it's only up to episode like 5 or 6, so I should be able to catch myself up very quickly. That's a good first impressions, I believe. I really enjoyed how I did this episode. I hope I can do more in the future. Maybe now I can get around to filming the thing I actually wanted to film today. Okay, everyone. Well, Attack on the Titan, good episode, good series. Love it. See ya.